What's up, everybody? My name's Jurque, and welcome to another Cup of Joe. As always, I will start off with a nice cup of coffee. This week's is a nice Deadpool cup. It says tacos and chimichangas on it, so I do love Deadpool. I know last week I told y'all that I really like penguins. I also really like Deadpool because I'm a huge superhero fan, so you will see other superhero cups in the future. But Deadpool's pretty cool. And I mean, tacos and chimichangas are pretty awesome also. I love Mexican food, so. But in the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, go see Deadpool because it is great. And I'm super excited for Deadpool 2 to come out next year. But anyways, let's get right on into it. So Last week I asked you guys to send me your questions because a lot of you were wanting kind of a reading your comments or a question and answer kind of thing from me. So that's what I said last week was, give me your questions and I will answer them for you. So that is what I will be doing mainly this week. I don't really think I have a whole lot else to say, but so let's actually get right on into it. I didn't really answer these ahead of time or write them down or come up with any answers. I just kind of wanted to do them fresh off the top of my head and try to be as real as I can about it. So let's see. Let's start with Proven. He asked, my question is, what motivated you day one to start YouTube, and who is one of your favorite YouTubers to watch? Now, before I answer all of you, I do want to say thank you for all the questions because there were some awesome questions and some things that I really didn't know that anybody would be asking. But to answer your question, Proven, thank you for asking. Honestly, there were several motivations to start YouTube, and between watching other people, I've always had a love for games my entire life. Growing up, I mean, I grew up playing the original NES and the Super Nintendo, like, with my parents. And then as I got older, me and my brother really got into playing games. And that's one thing that we've always kind of bonded over and done together up through having the first PlayStation and GameCube, PS2, Xbox, 360, just all of them up until today. We play Xbox One together a lot. So I've always enjoyed gaming. And then kind of once I realized that people were doing it on YouTube, and this was years and years and years ago, it was always an idea of something that I wanted to try because, and I'm not sure other things that people asked. I might try to answer if there was anybody else. Yeah, and also Flamesy Rider also asked what made you want to start a YouTube channel. So I'm kind of answering both of your questions together if I can. But yeah, basically what I said, I think some of the first YouTubers that I got into probably from my brother was like Rooster Teeth and Explosum Entertainment, the Cyanide and Happiness videos. And we probably found out about Rooster Teeth just because that's when like the Halo of the Red versus Blue series first originally got started, and they kind of blew up and got big. And then we liked to watch their achievement hunters, that, and then when we got big into like Call of Duty Zombies, we would watch NGT or Next Gen Tactics do their zombies. So I always kind of wanted to do like an achievement type channel with my brother, because one thing me and him have always liked doing was getting all the achievements in the games. I know a lot of people just play the games because they're competitive or just to play the story, but me and my brother always really got into getting all the achievements. So that was one thing I originally wanted to do, was to do like Xbox gaming and to do playthroughs and show how to get achievements and stuff like that. But I don't really know why I never did that. It's probably because of why it took me so long to do it to begin with, was I just didn't have the money or the computers. I didn't have the technology, the right stuff to record and to upload and stuff like that. Plus it kind of got to be a big thing where more and more people were doing it. So I don't know. It was one of those things where ended up enjoying sitting down and watching together more than actually doing it together, because I don't think that was really a thing that he was interested in doing, was doing a channel together. But I don't know, I'm not saying that it wouldn't ever happen, but now I'm kind of over. I still like play games and getting the achievements, but now it's not really something that I think I would focus time on in games and making videos of. But as far as what is one of my favorite YouTubers to watch nowadays, I still watch like Rooster Teeth and Side Night and Happiness. I probably spend the most time watching Markiplier than anybody, because my brother showed me his channel around the time like the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff was coming out. That and I think he showed me his Slender Man playthroughs like back 2 or 3 years ago, I would say. And I didn't like really get into him then, but probably about a year ago I started watching his content and catching myself up. And he was a big motivator as to what started my channel also. I mean, as far as what kind of stuff that he played, it got me into now, not that I'm trying to copy him, but I mean showing that you don't have to play these AAA games, that you can play smaller games and indie games and just stuff that interests you. And I don't know, he was definitely a big inspiration also. Let's see, that might can actually roll into some, who was it? Digeti. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I am. He asked, what do I want to achieve with my channel? That kind of ties into the other question. I wanted to do it just because, like I said, gaming's always been a hobby of mine. So I was like, hey, why not make videos and put them up? I've always thought that I'm a decent gamer. But seeing everything that, not just Markiplier, but a lot of the big YouTubers, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, and they're just the ones that I named because they're the kind of content uploaders that I watch, the gaming. But there's a ton of other YouTubers that do a lot of good stuff. I mean, as far as what people what they've been able to do for charity, that's always been a big cause that I've wanted to fight for or to create for. Not just YouTube, but in my life in general. I've always wanted to get to a position where I could be of some sort of influence to people, to be able to spread news, to be able to encourage people, to motivate people, and to help like raise money or raise awareness for good causes. That honestly is probably the biggest achievement that I would like to reach with my channel. I mean, of course, I would love to get to a spot where I could make a living off of YouTube, or you know, have hundreds of thousands and millions of subscribers and stuff like that. I mean, that would always be awesome. I mean, I think that's any YouTuber's ultimate goal. But I mean, as far as if I got there, I would want to be able to help other people through that. That's my ultimate goal, is just to be able to do live streams or to be able to do charity events and stuff like that, to be able to help good causes that or people that need help, and to be able to motivate people. I mean, to come on here, and that's one reason I do it now. I mean, I love talking to you guys one-on-one and be able to say, and checking out your guys' contents and being like, hey, this is awesome, continue, you know, keep it up, keep going, because we all need that little extra encouragement and pat on the back sometimes. So yeah, so that's what I would like to achieve with my channel. Various Gaming asked, if you love penguins, does that mean you prefer Linux over Windows? No, I have used Linux before, and I'm sure that that's kind of a rhetorical question. But I like Windows. I do all of my recording. I've said this before, I think once. I do all of this on a Mac. I know a Mac's not the preferred gaming computer, but that's what I had to work with, and eventually I would love to get a Windows computer for gaming and for videos, because it would open up a lot more opportunities for me. But I don't know, I haven't messed with Linux enough in my life to be able to say, but I would probably go with Windows for gaming. And I like my Mac. This is the first Mac that I've had, but it's let me be able to do a lot of really cool stuff that I couldn't do on Windows. So I don't know. Waymac, he asked, what is your favorite fast food chain? I would have to go with Taco Bell, because as I mentioned with the Deadpool stuff earlier, Mexican food is my favorite type of food. I love pizza. Pizza would probably be a close second. But Taco Bell is one of those things I could honestly probably go through and eat every single day. Because, I don't know, I love any type. Quesadillas, burritos, tacos, nachos, any of it. So, they are by far my favorite fast food chain. Me, and going back to my brother and gaming, Taco Bell's kind of played a big part in our gaming history between Taco Bell and sometimes like pizza places like Domino's or something. But we would always, if a new game came out, especially the next Gears of War or a new Halo, we would always go out the day it came out, and we would go and get the game and pick up Taco Bell for both of us, and we would go home and eat and start the game up fresh, or eat while it was installing and downloading, and then we would just play the game like all night long. So that's always been a good memory for me, that even after moving out and living on my own and stuff, we've still tried to keep up those traditions. We can't always be there with each other in person, but being able to play over live and do stuff definitely helps. So Mr. M. Flame asked, what do you do outside of YouTube, like for a living or for fun? Now, as for what I do for a living, I work for a company called ECMD. You probably haven't heard of them, but they are like a millworks and construction company where I basically work as a vendor, or like I'd say basically I work as a vendor or a merchandiser. I go inside of hardware stores, or mainly Lowe's stores, and the product from my company gets shipped to the Lowe's, and I have to go in and clean the aisles up and restock the merchandise. I put all the stuff up that comes in for that week, and then I have to reorder for the next week. So that's what I do every week. I work usually Tuesday through Fridays, but I work 10 to 12 hour days almost every day, sometimes more. I've worked, I think, the longest day I've ever worked, I've literally worked, I think, 19 and a half hours one time before. It involves a lot of driving. They give me a car to drive, but I kind of live in a central location between all my stores. I have 8 different stores that I go to. I go to 2 per day, and some days I have to drive. Usually I have to drive an hour to an hour and a half every day between each store, and then my furthest stores I go are like 2.5 to 3 hours away. So I probably drive anywhere between 10 to 15 hours a week, if not more. So I don't know. It's tough. It's hard because each one of my 8 stores that I have to put up stuff, they receive roughly 2,500 to 3,000 pounds a piece that I have to stock on the shelves. So, and it's all heavy stuff like molding and wood and boards and stuff like that. But overall, it's not bad. I get to work by myself, and I don't really have a lot of people looking over me. So I kind of get to just do my job and get done and go home. And I enjoy that. I'm kind of I don't want to say I'm a loner, but I like being by myself and doing stuff. And yeah, I like driving too. So it's not bad. I get a little break in between where I get to listen to my music and kind of have some time to myself. So as far as what I do for fun, I like to do a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously playing games I do for fun. I like to exercise. I like to work out. I will go to the gym or go out back and work out, exercise, do stuff like that. I like being outside. I like doing stuff in nature if I can. There's not a lot to do around the area I live because it's usually just hot and full of trees. But I like to play music. Actually, music was always my whole life been one of my biggest passions. That was what I thought I was going to actually end up spending my life doing, was pursuing something with music, because I like to sing, I like to play, I can play guitar, I can play bass. I was in band in high school and middle school for 7 years. I was like the #1 chair for saxophone. I can play drums. I played drums and guitar at my church before I moved for 5 or 6 years. And played in several other little small bands around town. So, music's always been a big part of my life. It's kind of, since I've moved, I don't have as many outlets to go and play in or express that in, but I still do it on my personal time, on my own time, on my personal time. I like to write songs and to I'll record music every now and then. I actually have an old YouTube channel that if anybody wants, I can drop the link in the description if you want me to. And I haven't uploaded anything to it in about a year, but I would do cover songs and that type of stuff. But that's one reason. I did say I'm going to be doing like a song parody coming up. It's nothing great. I'm not good at mixing and editing music, but I don't know. I thought it was funny. But and the other biggest thing that I really like to do is write. I'm not going to say I've always enjoyed writing, because especially in school I hated having to write. But as I've gotten older, it started out just being writing lyrics for songs. And then it turned, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, it turned into writing short stories actually. And eventually into writing books, because I don't think I've ever said this, but I'm actually in the middle of writing a fiction novel. I'm about 350 to 400 pages in, and I'm hoping to be finishing up in the next month or two. And then after that, editing it, and then trying to find like an agent or a publisher, that kind of stuff. So if and when any of that ever happens, I'll be sure to let you guys know, because that's one that, other than like YouTube, that is one thing I would love to be able to spend my life doing, is to be a writer. Whether it be, I mean, I've worked on screenplays and little short films, and I like writing just a variety of all sorts of stuff. So if I could ever find a solid job in like creative writing, I would love to do that. So, but thanks for the question, Mr. M Flame. Those were some good questions. And let me see. I think I only have maybe one more. I think it was T and H asked, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? Now that has changed a lot over the years. Like I mentioned earlier, I do really love superheroes. That was one thing growing up with my family. My dad's always been a huge superhero fan, especially like Batman. But for the longest time, I always thought if I could have one superpower, it would be to fly. Because I've always thought flying would be so cool, especially because I got Dragon Ball Z was my favorite show growing up as a kid. And I was just like, oh my gosh, if I could fly and go Super Saiyan and do all the stuff that they could do, that would just be the coolest thing ever. And I mean, of course, having stuff like super strength and invulnerability and invincibility and stuff like that would be really cool, and super speed. There's a ton of cool powers, but the more I've thought about it over the past few years, a large part of me would like to be able to control time. Like, to me, and maybe that's just because I have so many goals and aspirations and different things that I want to do, and I never seem to have enough time to do the things that I would actually want to do. But I think if I could control time, that would be cool, because I mean, you could, the days that you feel like you're just tired and you can't get enough sleep, just stop time and take a long nap, or take a pause time for a year and just read all the books that you want to be able to read. That's another thing I like to do. I didn't mention I love to read books too, whenever I have time. But pause time and write a book. Pause time and make as many YouTube videos as you want to, that you would ever need. I mean, if you could control time, you could just do so much. I feel like you would have the time literally to do anything and everything that you wanted to do in the world. I mean, you could go everywhere that you ever wanted to see. You could, I don't know, there would just be endless opportunities. And I mean, I feel like there may be a way in there that you could about give yourself immortality. Not that I really want immortality, because I don't want to be on the earth forever, but I do wish that we had more time on this planet to get to see more stuff and get to do more things, because I don't know, time is very limited. Time is one thing that you just never seem to have enough of to do everything that you want to do. So that would probably be my superpower if I could have one. I think that was actually everybody's questions that were able to get one out to me. At least I hope that I answered everybody's, and I hope that I answered everybody's in a good enough fashion to where that made enough sense. I know sometimes I get to talking and rambling, I don't really make enough sense, but This isn't going to be the only one that I do. I'm sure other people have more questions, and in the future I would love to do another big Q&A. Again, I really appreciate all the questions and the time that you guys took to mention them and to watch my videos, and I'm just really enjoying how this series is going. So, like I said, I will go as far as what I like to do for fun. I mentioned a lot of that. I like to read books, and I don't know, I might go into it in the future if you guys want to know what other types of games that I like to play. The only other thing I do is I like to watch TV. I don't do that a lot by myself, because I'm always working on other stuff by myself. But if me and my wife are eating, or if we're just bored, we like to watch TV too, or at least Netflix and YouTube, stuff like that. But if you guys want to know what I like to watch, if you want to know what kind of other games that I play on my own, just let me know, and I will try to answer that in the future. And leave some comments down below to let me know what kind of topics you would like for me to talk about with my next Cup of Joe, because as of now I don't really have anything picked out for next week or whenever I get the next one out. So let me know what you'd like to hear me talk about or speak on, and I'll do my best to cover that. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And like I said, let me know in the comments what you're thinking of this series, what else you want from me, and what else you want from me. And click the annotations to check out some other stuff that I've done. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.